Hey fellow book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline, and for today's video I am super excited because even though it is 89 degrees outside, we are going to be talking about the books that I hope to get to this autumn, and I cannot wait. I absolutely love all things fall, all things autumn. It is my favorite season, so anytime I have to get to talk about it, I'm going to. So it's like past the middle of September. It's totally appropriate to start talking about fall and all things autumnal. So like, let's do it. Why not? I'm too excited not to. So some of these books I have already talked about on this channel, however, I haven't gotten to them yet, and they definitely give me all the warm, cozy, fall autumnal vibes, so we're gonna talk about them. I personally don't do horror. It is not my genre. I am a scaredy cat. I can't handle it. So I do not have any horror on this list. So I have some that are kind of mystery, some that are definitely dark academia and would fit underneath that genre, and then some of them are more just like atmospheric, and I can't wait. I'm really excited. So this first one, I think I've mentioned this on our channel already, but it absolutely gives me The Village by M. Night Shyamalan vibes, which terrified me as a child, but it is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. This is about a girl named Ellery who lives in a village called Amity Falls, and it is surrounded by an impenetrable forest, and things kind of start to go wrong. There are monsters that are lurking in the woods. There are strangers who are granting people's deepest, darkest desires in exchange for one favor. There's just kind of a quality to this book of like the not knowing that, like, anytime I read the blurb of this book, it gives me this sense of unease of not knowing kind of what's lurking out there, and it's kind of like creepy a little bit, so I think it fits the season perfectly. I've heard fabulous things, so I really want to get to it, so I think it would be a lot of fun. This one's been on my TBR for like over a year now, so it's time. So I started this book already, but had to put it down because of some books that we had for our book buddy read, as well as books for the podcast. And so I only got a couple chapters into it, but it completely sucked me in. And like, I still think about it. So if I don't get to it in the next couple of months, I'm gonna be desperately sad. But it is Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. So this is about Artemisia, who is basically training to be a nun that helps cleanse bodies after their death so that their soul can pass on. But when her convent is being attacked by soldiers, she accidentally awakens this ancient spirit by using a relic. And this spirit is not nice. It is malevolent, and it wants to possess her anytime she lets her guard down. But now she's having to train as a Vespertine, which are priestesses who are trained to use relics, and she has no one to turn to because there are no more Vespertines left. So she has to turn to this ancient text, the Revenant, and she's now having to learn dark magic and all of these secrets, and it just sounds incredible. I really love this cover. I think it's gorgeous. I have read Sorcery of Thorns and An Enchantment of Ravens, which is also by Margaret Rogerson. They are both standalones, and from what I hear, this is also a standalone, but it could turn into a series, but you're not being left on a cliffhanger, which is kind of nice. So needless to say, I can't wait. Okay, so this next one, I am really looking forward to reading it. However, I have read another book by this author and I did not like it. I actually did a video on it, but it is the same author as Merciful Crow, and it is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This sounds amazing because basically it's a retelling of the Goose Girl, but from the point of view as the villain, which I think sounds fascinating. Next we have Book of Night by Holly Black. I am flabbergasted by this book, if I'm going to be completely honest. The cover, stunning. I mean, gorgeous. Love it. The description, I'm intrigued, but I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And I have a feeling that it's supposed to be that way, that you're supposed to kind of be left unknowing. But this is about Charlie, who works for shadow stealers. But she kind of gets herself in a lot of trouble, but she's trying to distance herself from the past. Her sister's desperate for magic. Her boyfriend doesn't have a shadow and is keeping secrets. And somehow something happens and she devolves into murder and lies, according to the blurb. Like, let me just read this to you real fast. Determined to survive, she's up against a cast of doppelgangers, mercurial billionaires, glomists, which they're the ones who can manipulate shadows, and the people she loves best in the world, all trying to steal a secret that will give them a vast and terrible power. I mean, sounds incredible. Again, cover stunning, and it's not very big. Like, it's less than 300 pages, 287. I just feel like I'm scratching my head. Like, I don't know what's going on. But again, I think it's supposed to be that way. And so color me intrigued, because I do think this is going to be a fascinating read. I think it fits the atmosphere perfectly. But I'm very curious to see if I'm actually going to like it or not. So yeah, who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a video on it and we can go on that little journey together. But I'm going to be honest, I've heard both good things and bad things about this book, so I'm keen to see where I'm going to fall into that category. Okay, so this next one, I am prepared to make my entire personality full send. 120% full personality. Babel by R.F. Kuang. Y'all, I mean, first off, again, like, are you kidding me? Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. The Fairy Loot edition has like, oh, it's gorgeous. But this is very dark academia, however, very much turning a lot of the concepts of dark academia on its head. So this is set in 1828, and it is about Robin, who was orphaned in China and was brought over to England by an Oxford professor. And this is his story of growing up and going to Oxford, experiencing awful racism, and then also untangling a lot of the foundations of colonialism. It sounds like there are secret societies, lots of twists and turns, and I believe that it is based a lot on Kuang's history of university herself and a lot of the things that they experienced while in school. So I think that this is going to be a really interesting insight while also having a historical narrative as well. And I just think that this is going to be a really important book to read, and I am so excited. So this next one is definitely dark academia as well, and kind of sounds like there's going to be a mystery element to it. But this is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. But like, let me just read the back of this for you, because I can't. Enter the players. There were 7 of us, 7 bright young things with wild, precious futures ahead of us. Until that year, we saw no further than the books in front of our faces. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Colborne wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is finally ready to tell it. A decade ago, Oliver is one of 7 young Shakespearean actors at the De La Chaire Classical Conservatory, a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. In this secluded world of firelight and leather-bound books, excuse me, love it, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, and extra. But in their 4th and final year, good-natured rivalries turn ugly, and on opening night, real violence invades the students' world of make-believe. In the morning, the 4th years find themselves facing their very own tragedy and their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police, each other, and in themselves that they're innocent. Like, are you kidding me? Sounds so good. Sounds so good. I think it's going to be fabulous. I can't wait. So this next one, I think I'm actually going to read it this week, and I think it's going to be the first one that kind of kick-offs the Welcome to Fall reading that we have. But it is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. So this book comes out on September 27th, but Penguin was kind enough to send me an ARC, and I just got it in the mail yesterday, so I am super excited to get to read it. This is set on like a witchy, secluded island, and there was a murder, and it sounds utterly fascinating and beautiful and atmospheric, and it's written by Adrienne Young, who I already know can do all of those things. So needless to say, I am so excited to read it. The cover is stunning. I love Adrienne Young's works in writing. We're actually going to be covering this on the podcast as well, so I cannot wait to get to talk about it. But yeah, this one absolutely has me in a chokehold. All things witchy, all things Moody Island, a mystery. Yes, please. Yes, please. So this last one, I actually don't have my hands on it yet. It just came out at the end of August, but it is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I have heard absolutely exquisite things about this book, specifically from Jenna from Style Your Shelf on Instagram. Her page is beautiful. Go check her out. Give her a follow. She's amazing. But this book, y'all, reading the blurb and description for it, my jaw was on the ground. I was reading Jenna's review of it, and I think she summarized it perfectly. But she said Bridgerton meets gothic romance. And like, that's all I needed to know. Like, literally, it summed it up, and I need it now. Like, I need to go buy it right this second because it just sounds delicious. So can't wait to go get that one. Can't wait to devour it. I think it's going to be a top priority read for me. So those are all the books that I currently have on my fall reads list right now, but I have a feeling that that list is going to grow. And as I continue to read books, if I like them and want to recommend them, I might end up making a second one of these videos. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I am so excited. So if you have any autumnal recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. I need a good long list because I just can't wait. I'm so excited. So please let me know what books you are wanting to read this fall, or you feel like kind of fit the fall atmospheric vibe. Let me know. I can't wait to hear them. But that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We would love to chat with you over on Instagram, so please feel free to come slide into our DMs. You can check us out at the Bibliovert Podcast. We also have a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, and it's called the Bibliovert Podcast. We release episodes every single Monday. We do a lot of YA and NA fantasy, but as well as a little bit of romance, and we've started doing author interviews, and they are so much fun. We've really, really enjoyed them. And lastly, we have a Patreon, so if you are looking for a bookish community, definitely check ours out. It is filled with the most amazing book-loving people in the entire world. We have a lot of behind-the-scenes content as well as exclusive content with Patreon exclusive episodes and just a lot of unhinged fun things. So we would love to have you join our family, but have a fantastic week, happy reading, and I'll see you next time.